Peace and blessings, fellas. What's up with all the daydreamers out there? Please live it. Don't sleep through this thing, man. So today, it's a little different. Got my headphones on, man. Of course, there's something on this screen that some of you guys ain't never seen before. But we're kind of doing a behind-the-scenes tutorial concept of Beatmaker 3. For those of you who don't know what Beatmaker 3 is, Beatmaker 3 is a music production app that is on your iPad. You can download on your iPad. iPads have come a long ways. I'll put it like this. For all the production work that you see on this channel, for the videos you see on my channel, for the music that I release on my channel and everything like that, all of it's been done via the iPad. Well, I won't say all of it because there's some really old stuff that I was doing things off of the computer on, but a lot of the most recent stuff has been done via my iPad. And I've been using my iPad for a while now to put content out. And I want you to think about this. That's everything from video editing to actually music production, vocal recording, all those things are done through the iPad. The only thing I'm not using my iPad for is to actually film. Right now, I'm using my iPhone 13 to film. Typically, I use my Canon 550D EOS to actually film. So I bounce between that and everything like that, but everything funnels into my iPad. And today we're looking at Beatmaker 3 specifically, how to get your samples into Beatmaker 3. I'm a sample-based producer. I'm birthed from the old school element of hip hop, the sampling concept of it and everything like that, man. Love to do it. I love to mess with I'm a dusty finger crate digging type of guy and everything like that. And in fact, my son, who is a music producer, also check out his Instagram. Let's go Omarion. That young brother is dope, man. And I'm not just saying it because he's my son, y'all. I'm not saying it just because he's my son. I'm saying it because that young man is talented. My children know we tell them the truth in this house. We encourage, but we tell them the truth. So, but either way it go, that boy is really, really dope with what he does. So go to his channel. Let's go Omarion, so you can check out what he's got, not channel, but his Instagram, so you can see what he's got going on in there. Shop with the kids. Shop with the kids. Shameless plug, man. You know what I'm saying? We got a family business here, man. We trying to run, man. We got a family business. Anyways, let's get going into this tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how to bring your samples into Beatmaker 3. So for those of you who are here for the tutorial, hey, sit back, get your popcorn and enjoy it, or grab your iPad and follow along. For those of you who are just here because you just want to see what all this is about, you don't even do music production, but you just want to pay attention and look at what's going on, let's get it cracking. Get your popcorn, man, get your 3D glasses and something to drink and get real comfortable. Let's go with it, man. Welcome to the first episode of the Sunday Grind. Let's get into it. All right, so as you can see, the first screen that is up is right here. This is the actual welcome screen, right? Welcome to Beatmaker 3. You can either bring up a new session. You can bring up an old session by pressing open session. You can go to the quick start guide. You also can visit the sound store. The sound store actually has some pretty decent sounds. They're not very expensive or anything like that, man. So if you wanted to look at that, you can go to look at that. And then also you see where it got the different 3 sessions that are up there. These are your most recent sessions that you've been working with. And it typically has that ready to go just in case you want to jump right back into it. We're not jumping back into any type of new session. We're actually going to go ahead and hit new session right here and everything. Now we are right here where it's got your pad bank, right? This is your 16 level pad bank. If you've ever seen a MPC, a Machina, or any of those that actually are like the old beat machines with the pads on it, that's what this is actually emulating and everything like that. Just to kind of give you an overview of the screen so you're not too lost or anything like that, especially if you're new to Beatmaker 3. Excuse me. At the top in the middle, it says new session. This is the number 189. This is going to give you an automatic name for your session. You can always change it when you press save, and you can change it right there if you want to, okay? All right, so where I just press save on the upper right-hand corner, you can bring up a new session. You can save this one, save and change the name, or you can export what you've created, right? Then over here on the far left-hand side, if you hear any noise in the background, guys, we live in this house, so understand that we do live in this house, man. But if you go to the left-hand side at the top where that orange X is, right next to it, where it's highlighted with the magnifying glass or the search symbol, the universal search symbol, you can select that to search through your banks, search through your sessions, search through your samples, or through your plugins. You got it the way you can actually go to a folder where you can look at different things that you've already brought inside of Beatmaker 3, the app itself. And then you can also press that to go to the actual store, which is the little shopping cart. Now, going down the line on your left-hand side, right underneath that, you got the setting wheel. So you tap that to go into your settings. All right. Underneath that, you got the orange that's highlighted. It's the beat pad that's highlighted. You press that, and we're already on the beat pad option. Underneath that, you have the little wave file. You select that. Now, this is where we're going to actually bring our sample in to, but we're going to come back to that. Underneath that, you got the track view. So after you record something into it, it'll actually have them stacked on top of each other as tracks going in the line that the song will actually play. Right underneath that, you select that. That's your console view, right? That's your console view. This is where it's almost like a mixer for those of you who want to know what I mean by console and everything like that. So now let's go ahead and get into bringing our sample into Beatmaker 3. So we're going to go to that part where it got the wave file on the left-hand side. Select that. You see where it turned orange. All right. So now this is where we got the option to have the sampler. That's what we're going to use to actually record our sample into Beatmaker 3. After that, on the next side, you got layer effects. So you can add different effects on there after you've recorded into there. You got modulation, mapping, and you also can do this where you can add your plugins and stuff like that. And these are the plugins that I actually do have on here, but we're not using plugins or anything like that. I'm actually pulling from a sound that I found searching the internet. I'm going to pull a section of that into Beatmaker 3. Now, just to kind of give you guys a gist on how I'm getting my audio into Beatmaker 3, I have a Focusrite audio interface. That Focusrite audio interface is actually plugged into a USB hub. That USB hub is connected into my iPad. It sounds crazy, right? Just know this, the USB hub is where everything that I use is going into that hub, which is plugged into the iPad. So I use my MPC Studio Black as a pad controller for my Beatmaker 3. That's plugged into the USB-C hub. I use the Focusrite as the audio interface. That's plugged into the USB-C hub. I also have what is called the MPK Mini, Akai MPK Mini. That's plugged into the hub, which of course runs into the iPad. So the hub is where everything comes together. That's the meaning of a hub. It's where everything comes together. It's where the iPad gets its power from and everything like that. So let's go ahead and get this sample into Beatmaker 3. So what we're going to do is, right underneath where it says sampler, it's got that thing where it says record it's red with the red dot above it. Tap that. After you tap that, you see where it says recording source, no input. Now we have to have an input, of course, because we don't have no input. You can't get no sound into the app. So we're going to tap that. After we tap that, we have the option to do hardware input, which I'm going to be pulling for my Focusrite. Then we have the option to do internal. Internal is where you already got some sounds. You've been playing some keys and stuff like that and other little things inside there. And you want to just resample it, is what it's called. Resample into it using the internal sample. And you'll be able to select the bank, play it, and then it'll resample into it, and then you can go for further manipulation and alterations of the sound as you see fit and everything like that. So if you wanted to do that. So we're going to do hardware input though. After we select hardware input, I'm going to select Scarlett USB 2 because that's where my audio is going to be coming through. For those of you who are not familiar with the audio interface aspect of it, you'll have like either one input or two input. These are audio input where you're either plugging an XLR microphone cord into it, or I believe it's called like a 1/4 jack into it, right? So I have it in the second audio input slot. So I'm picking Scarlett Solo USB 2 because that's the second slot I have the audio in and everything like that. So once that's in there, what you'll see is on the side, I need to hit where this little blue line that I'm pressing, that's moving right here. Underneath it, it says monitor. So I'm going to select that because I need to be able to hear what I'm about to bring into the program and everything like that when I start recording and stuff. Okay, so I need to be able to hear this sound. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. All right, now, if you look at it where it says record mode threshold negative 3.0 dB, this is right here, this little blue little tab line that I'm moving up and down. Wherever you set that at, that's for the volume in the scheme of when, not necessarily the volume of the input of your recording, but it's more so to let it know that when it hits this volume, at this threshold, or when it hits this level of volume in the recording process or in the recording sound, that's when it needs to start recording. So until it actually hits that, it won't start recording. It'll just say, when I hit that orange button that says start, it'll just say waiting till that sound actually hits and everything like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this down all the way to the floor. Matter of fact, no, I'm gonna pull it to 40. I'm gonna take it to 40. I'm gonna take it to 40. I'm gonna take 42, negative 42, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna take it there, right? So now that it's there, I got my sample already loaded up on the computer. I got it set to at the point to where I wanna take the sample and everything like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit play on the computer, but before I hit play on the computer, I'm gonna hit start on the actual, on the app. So I hit start. As you can see, it's saying waiting. It's waiting for the signal to start to record, but not only just to hit just for me to hit play, but for the sound to actually hit where that threshold is, so it can actually start the recording process right then and there. So let's go ahead and do that real quick, guys. All right, I didn't want all that, but boom, I had some technical difficulties. I didn't want all that, but we got what we needed, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off monitor so that I don't hear that sound anymore, and then I'm gonna hit the X button right there to close it out. Now, I got more than what I wanted. I got more than what I wanted because I had to figure out what something was wrong with me being able to hear it, but I got it fixed and everything like that. So what we're gonna do is, I keep saying everything like that. You notice that? Everybody, put like a comment under the thing right here on for how many times I said everything like that. Anyways, so what we wanna do is we wanna preview this. So if you look at the screen, it got the wave file on there, right? And right underneath that wave file, you see where it says 0 snap in the white box. We're not gonna press 0 snap, we're gonna press what's on the left-hand side of it. We're gonna press edit. Now we wanna preview this sound. So right underneath the wave file where it says 0 snap again, on the left-hand side, right underneath that where it says preview, you wanna hold that down to preview it. And you need to hold it. Now, when that beat starts to drop, I don't want none of that. So how do I get rid of all of that and everything? So where's that E is right here, but meaning the end of the sample, I want to drag that over. I'm gonna drag that over. Matter of fact, let me get into this. This is why I love the Beatmaker. I'm just using my hands and I'm opening that thing up. Boy, that thing look good, boy. Here we go. All right, so once I get that set right there, what I want to do is go back to where we press where we press preview, go all the way over on that same line to the right-hand side where it says delete, trim, copy, process. What we're gonna do is we're gonna hit delete. It just took off the far end of it. Oh no, I did it wrong. Let's do what I do. Let's do what I do. Cause you know what? Let's do what I do. All right, what did I do wrong? All right, there we go. Now we can do it. Now we can do it. So we're gonna hit, not delete, but we're gonna hit trim. So when I hit delete, this is good. This is good. Me messing up is good. It's good education. Me hitting delete, it deleted what was highlighted. We don't want to delete what was highlighted. We want to delete what's not highlighted. So to delete what's not highlighted between the S and the E, or the start and the end of the sample, we want to hit trim. Now we have what we need to work with, but we still got that beginning part. That part right there. I don't want that part. So we're gonna move the S, or rather the start marker of the sample, over here. And we're gonna hit trim again. Now I only got what I wanna work with. I only have what I wanna work with. But let's listen to this, because what we wanna listen for is if where we got those markers at, the S and the E, is it looping in a tempo fashion, meaning that it doesn't sound like it's skipping or it's pausing when it actually loops. Let's check that out. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but it kind of got like a little delay in getting back to the loop. And that's because of this little section right here that I'm waving over. I want to get rid of that just to see something, right? So let's mark it right there. Now, we don't have to hit trim just yet because we can test it out. That's the beautiful thing. You don't have to actually press the trim option in order for you to check it out. You can go ahead and set it there and preview it before you actually make your final trim. And you can always go up to the upper right-hand corner and hit undo if you want to go back to what you previously had. So let's hit preview again. And remember, you got to hold preview. Ah, you see that? You see how, listen to it again. It's a whole lot better than the last time. So we got that. So now we can hit trim. All right, now that we've hit trim, we got everything set right there. So we got our start of the sample, our end of the sample. Whatever we didn't need, we got rid of that and everything, right? So now we're on a good pathway, and we got a healthy sample that we can work with. But here's the issue that I'm running into with this sample. So what I'm gonna go back to is my console view, because my console view is gonna let me look at where this sample is actually coming in as far as the audio input of it, right? And everything. So we're back on our console view. Now, this is the beauty of having my MPC Studio Black connected as a controller to my iPad, because what I can do is just hit this pad. So it's in pad 1. But I can always go there and see it. So it's too low. It's like way too low to work with, right? Because the thing is, once I add my drums are gonna be knocking, right? You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna drown out the sample itself. But I wanted to show you something about my iPad. So you see, I had to go back to the 16 pad view, press that, then go to the console view to see it. With my iPad being connected, or rather my MPC Studio Black being a pad controller for my iPad, I can just hit the pad on there and I can see it. I'll do a tutorial on that, on how I actually made it a controller for it later, but let's just finish out this little tutorial about bringing samples into Beatmaker3 and everything like that. So as you can see, it's just way too low. Way too low. Once I bring drums in there, them drums are gonna be knocking, and they're gonna drown out that sample, and I don't wanna drown out my sample. So let's go ahead and make it just a little easier. Go back to your sample, selecting the wave option. And what you're gonna do is, right where we was pressing trim, go back to where it says trim, but instead of pressing trim, we're gonna press the one that says process. So we got delete, trim, copy, process. We wanna tap process. So hit process. Now you got an option to normalize the sample. You can silence certain sections of the sample. You can fade in certain sections of the sample, fade out certain sections of the sample. You can stretch and pitch the sample if you want to, and you can also reverse the sample and everything. So let's go ahead and hit normalize. When we hit normalize, it's going to bring up an option on how loud we want it. Now we can have it right there at the 0 mark, or you can bring it down some, or you can bring it up even more if you so choose to. We're going to leave it at the 0 mark, right? This is unity, right? We're going to leave it there. I think that's what it's called. Anyways, we're going to leave it right there. So it's not like 0 no sound. For those of you who are music producers, you know what this means. But for those who are not, this doesn't mean 0 no sound. It's just the unity. It's like that's the amp level that you want. I hope I'm explaining it right. I think I'm doing terrible. Y'all explain it in the comments. Some of y'all might be able to do it better than me. All right. Now you see how it's boosted or increased the sound of the sample and everything. So now let's play it again. See how loud it is? Do it again. You hear that? So through normalizing the sample, what we've done is we've taken the lowest part and tried to pull it to where it automatically reaches and balances with the higher parts of the sample. Yes, it increased the higher parts of the sample, so you got to be careful of that, because as you can see, this little section right here, that's more than likely peaking, and it could be considered distortion and everything. But when it comes to certain samples, there is a certain, it depends on your preference. Some people want that kind of sound inside their sample as they produce and create around it, and some people don't. They want it as clean as possible. But for the sake of the tutorial, to keep it moving, we're gonna leave it as it is. Now, the next thing to do is to find out the BPM for this sample. What is the BPM? Meaning that the beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. 4-bar loop. So that's how it would typically go and everything. So you want to see where that BPM is with this, right? So what we're going to do is, and again, this is the beauty of having something that you can externally control it to figure it out and everything like that. So now we're going to hit where it says, if you go to the top where it says it's got 90 and then underneath it says 4/4, that's your tempo and that's the set of bars that you have. So we got a 4/4 bar measure or 4/4 bar loop, and then we got 90 beats per minute. So tap on that, BPM 90, signature is 4/4. So what we want to do is we want to actually turn on the BPM, the metronome. So right next to it, we want to turn that metronome on. So we're going to tap that 90 again. And now what we're going to do, we're going to play the beat. We're going to play the sample rather, and then we're going to hit that where it says tap. We're going to tap to get the tempo. All right, so round 145, it seems like. Round 145, is your boy correct? Let's see. All right, so now we're gonna hit play and you're gonna hear the metronome click, and then we're going to actually press the pad for the sample to see how this pans out, how this goes out. And as you can see, it's as close as can be. We're not even gonna mess with that. But we need to now take the sample and make the sample match the overall metronome. So what we just set was the overall metronome for the whole song, for the whole beat. We wanna just make the metronome match up also with the sample itself. So underneath the actual wave file, where you'll see where it says, right underneath where we typically press and hold preview, all right, it says sample loop, not loop, crossfade, NA, BPM 90. Let's select that, and we want to slide that on over to 145. You can either slide it like I'm doing it to 145, or you can just double tap it and type it in if you want to, okay? So now that we got that set, you see how it all started to slide to where it needed to be? You saw how, matter of fact, if you wasn't paying attention, see how it starts to slide to where it needs to be? Because it's setting it up to where it's going to hit where you want those thresholds to hit and everything. So now we got that, but we would need to chop this sample. So that's some, y'all know what we about to do. This is where the fun come in, right? After you get all that done, this is where you start to have fun with your sample, because you're now about to chop it or slice it. So they actually have an easy slice mode on Beatmaker 3 to make it easy to do. So if you look at the top right-hand corner of the app, it says slice mode with the little scissors next to it, right? Tap that. After you tap that, you got two options. You can auto slice it, or you can save the sample and give a name and a title to it and everything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit auto slice. We can either split it, grid it, or detect it. We wanna do split. So now we split it up and automatically in 16 slices and everything. So if we hit play, now watch. Do you see that? I wanted to show you that. I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you that. I ain't do that on purpose, man, but I'm glad I be messing up in front of you guys, because then it gives me an opportunity to educate and teach. All right, so one of the things that I am doing, I'm hitting the pad where that sample is, but you see it's only playing the first slice. I need to be able to play all the 16 pads to play every single slice, but I can't do that. But why? Let's go back to our actual 16 beat pad. It's only selected on that one pad that's actually got the sound on it. The sound is on A1.1, but I need to actually stretch this sample over all 16 of these pads. How do I do that? Well, go to your right-hand side where it got the options keys, select, scene, mute, and solo. We want to select keys. Now, you see how it's highlighted everything. Now the sample is actually placed across all 16 pads. Now let's go back to our wave, our sampler. Let's go back to that, pressing the wave button. Now watch this. Here we go. Now I'm playing all of them, let me turn the metronome off. Now I'm playing all of them in sequence by using all of the pads. Now you can actually go in and double tap as an audition, but you're not gonna wanna use that to try to figure out how to, how to make these samples sound like something and everything. So, hey, I just wanted to show you guys that. Matter of fact, let's. So I'm trying to like figure out how I want to play it. I think I got it. No. Okay. See, it's a working process, but once you get it, oh, it's a beautiful thing. Y'all hear how hard I'm pressing that thing? That's the only thing I don't like about using this, because you can't use the full level button to actually make it where you don't have to press it so hard and everything like that to actually get the sound that you want, like the velocity that you want. But let's go ahead and record what we got. Let's go ahead and record what we got real quick. Hopefully I won't be messing up, because you know everything sounds good until you start to record and then you start messing up and have to do 95 takes. Let's hope I ain't got to do 95 takes. So now we're going to actually hit the record button. So if you look at the transport at the top, you got it right where we was messing with the BPM. Right next to it, it has the block where it's the stop button, the play button, and the record button. You're gonna press that circle button to start recording, but I'm gonna press the record button on my MPC Studio Black. Let's get it! I messed up. So now we're gonna do the undo, which is next to the transport where it says undo. We're gonna undo that. I'm gonna double tap the stop button just to make sure that is all the way back at the beginning. Now let's go ahead and do it again. Hit the record. And what you're hearing is, for those who don't know, it's going to click in one bar to get it so that I'm ready. So I'm not trying to press play and hit it at the same time. It gives you time to kind of get yourself set. So here we go. That's all I wanted, right? So now I'm going to actually go back to my track view. I want to go to my track view. Now, after I go to my track view, right there, you see where it says 1 pattern 1. So right above it, that's where I want to set my loop, because I need this to loop so I can add other sounds to it and everything like that. So we're going to go ahead and pull that over all the way to the 5, but it's not necessarily doing 5 bars. It's only doing 4 bars. So it's doing a 4-bar loop. So let's hear how this sounds to see if there's anything we need to correct. So now it's good. It's all right with me. I have no beef with it or anything like that, at least right now. I'm hearing something in the end of it, but I'm not going to mess with that so far. I'm not going to mess with that right now, but I wanted to show you one last thing before we end this very long tutorial on how to get your samples into Beatmaker 3. But let's go ahead and I'm going to show you this now. So now that you've created that, you got to add your drums. So you don't want to add your drums to the pad bank that you got your sample on. So you see how I went back to where I was showing the 16 pad layout. Now I want to hit that plus button next to A1, which brings up B, pad bank B. I'll go down to, I got to get my words together. Now I have options on how to bring my my samples into here, or my drums into it, right? So I can hit the search glass on the top right, top left, and I can select bank. It's already highlighted, and these are all the banks that are already made up that you can put in. So there's drum kits on here that you can make. You can even make your own drum kit and save it and stuff like that. That's for another time. So you can select that. So I can pick my drum 03, my drum 2. These are drums that I've made up and everything, and I can actually touch it. Down at the bottom, hit load, and it automatically loads it into it. And I got it all even on that. So you can even not only just have it as 16 sounds only, you can go up to multiple sounds, okay? You can go up to at least 32 sounds total for the, no, matter of fact, 100 and something. 128, that's right, 128. So you could do like 8 pages is how that works. To spread out as many sounds as you can actually deal with on the song that you're making. Now, notice I already had a drum pad, a drum kit set up. But let's say, for instance, if you don't want to actually use a drum kit and you want to just build it from the ground up. You just want to build it from the ground up. So let's do, let's clear this out. So we're going to hold down at the top. I held down where it says B1, I held down that tab, and I'm going to select clear, and it clears it completely out, right? So now I go back to it, it's cleared completely out. There's no sounds on it. So going back up to the top left-hand side, next to the search glass, you want to select the folder. Now, I put everything in imports. Some people might put it in the sample folder. I don't. I put it inside imports. That's where I put everything at for me. And so I'll select the import folder, and I'll select drum kits. And this is where all my drums are. And so if I wanted to put some kicks on there, or it doesn't, man, let's select the 80. So let's say, for instance, if I wanted to put in, let's go to, Let's go to drums vinyl, right? Drums vinyl. These are different vinyl drums that I've collected and I'm continuously collecting, you know, sampling drum kits and stuff like that. So let's go to the Blackbirds. So I bring that in, set it right there. And notice how I dragged it. Select the next one. Selected and dragged it. So now I'm holding the button down and it's looping. I don't want it to loop. So I'm gonna go back to my wave, hit that orange X, brings me to my pads. You see where it says right underneath where it says 0 snap, it says forward. I don't want it to forward. I want no loop. I don't want to hold it. I want one shot. So I changed it to no loop, one shot. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the snare. No loop, one shot. That's it. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. But if we wanted to record that into it, it's like I can't stop. It's like if we want to record that into it, same thing applies. Same rule applies. Make sure that you just press the stop, the stop button to bring it back to 0, just in case it's not back to the beginning of the track. You're gonna hit record. See how I messed up? So now we can hit undo, all right? We can hit undo and we can do it over again. Let's see how it sounds. I am horrible today. Let's do it. Let's do it again. Let's see what we get. Now, I probably threw you guys off of what I just did. So let me go back to where I was. So what I did was I went to my track view. And I double tapped on the track for the drums, and it opened up the different MIDI notes that are on there, right? And it allows me to actually shift and move them if they're off beat or they're not where I want them to be. So that's what I was listening for. I dive right into like concentration mode. Okay, I'm in there. I like really dived in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go, man. Hey, that's how you get samples into Beatmaker 3. But not only that, I went a little further and showed you how to chop them, showed you how to record them, and all those other different things and stuff like that. But one other thing before I let you go, one thing that you can do, if you look at this, you can actually manipulate the tune. Manipulate the fine tune. If you look at it where it says 0 snap, underneath it where it says no, not looped, one shot, right underneath there, you can actually change the tune. The fine tune, you can change the gain of it. You can actually change how it's panned from left to right. You can add saturation if you want to. Underneath it, you can add effects and you can manipulate it even more. Not only that, on the bottom left-hand side, if you hit audio effects, you can even add even more effects onto it so that you can even add different sounds and stuff. So it's so many things that you could do with Beatmaker 3. It is a powerful app that does not need to be slept on if you're looking to do production work via the iPad, man. And one other channel I do want to shout out, man. I gotta shout this out, man. I gotta give respect to where respect is due. But Henny the Business has been such an inspiration to me when it comes to the different things that I am using in the effort that I might be continue to just foster new creative workflow and ideals and stuff like that. Now, I've been rocking with Beatmaker since Beatmaker 2, years before I ran into Henny's channel. But Henny has introduced me to Bloxwave. He introduced me to other plugins that are out there, the Juicy Vocal or whatever it's called that I was introduced to. Different other plugins that he's showed and everything like that. So if you're really looking for some quality content, but also a guy that really got it down pat with the mobile editing, man, go to his channel, man, and check him out. Subscribe to him, rock with him. The brother is dope. I learned so much from him and everything like that, man. So, hey, but that's it. That's the game, man. I need to go because I do want to actually finish this sample, but I got to eat first and all that other stuff because my wife, she got the house smelling really, really good. And I need some coffee. This the Sunday grind, guys. Y'all be safe out there. Much love and respect, and remember, dreams are meant to be lived, not slept through. Don't get no trouble out there, y'all. Peace.